Is there a world record for the most ratchet way to get a paper cut? Because if there is, I should totes have it. See, what had happened was... And by the way, if a black person ever starts a story with, see what had happened was, you can assume that what is to follow is a lie. But in this case, I'm telling the complete truth because it's too stupid to be a lie. Yesteryear, not really, more like yesterday. See, there's this commercial for this drug called Risperdal. And I don't know if you've seen it or not, mostly because I don't know who you are watching this right now. But Risperdal is a drug for some sort of mental disorder, I think. Possible side effects include gynecomastia, which is apparently a disorder in which teenage boys develop female breasts. Now, there are always those few people that are gonna be like, oh, you can't laugh at that. That's not funny at all. That's immature. I mean, that's like laughing at the word boobies. Ain't nothing wrong with laughing at boobies. People need to loosen up. Just like these guys are gonna have to start buying some looser shirts to accommodate their new friends. Anyway, back to the story. This commercial is for a certain law firm that will represent the families of these boys that, you know, have experienced this traumatic, you know, side effect. But every time I see this commercial, I just like die laughing. I don't know, it's just like ever since the first time I saw it, it's just dead every time. I looked it up on the internet because I wanted to watch it and show it to my friend Andre, and I was doing my math homework at the time. And this proves to you that no good comes out of math whatsoever. I started laughing harder than I ever have, and so I dropped my math notebook, and as I leaned back, my hands wanted to go up in the air in this just like expression of complete joy and happiness and hilarity. But in the process, my finger, this one to be precise, being the only finger with a band-aid on it, just so happened to land in the one spot where the paper in my notebook was, you know, up, and grazed right along the very edge of the paper. If you can imagine this, it's pretty dang painful. But I was laughing too hard to really pay too much attention to it. I felt it. I was like, ouchie, paper cut. And Andre was like, oh, you know, bruh, it's just a paper cut. It can't be that bad. Haha. No. That thing was bleeding. Like, it kept bleeding in love. It kept bleeding. It kept bleeding in love. But it's okay, because I was able to get a paper cut in a really stupid way, and I'm alive to tell the story. And luckily I also don't have a son with female breasts. Once upon a time, there was a young lad by the name of Justine Bieber. Justine was a happy girl, boy, individual, but one day he went crazy. Like, honestly, I used to be in love with Justin Bieber. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, between, what, like ages 12 and very early 14, maybe not even 14. That was when I discovered John Mayer and I became sensible. But it seems like every child star that I love ends up destroying themselves in the long run. I remember I used to listen to Justin's song, Never Let You Go. It was such a nice song, so calm, peaceful, got such an ambient little tone to it. But yeah, now we need to let you go. Back to Ontario, please. I mean, I did hear he was gonna get deported possibly if he, you know, didn't clean up his act or whatever the heck they said. But did you see his mugshot? He was smiling like a mofo. No, excuse me. He was smiling like a mo5. I don't have respect for this because, no, I haven't done all the research that I could have done as to, you know, whatever it was that he did that got him arrested, like the specifics. I know that he was drunk driving, he was drag racing, and he was high, and you can see it in his picture. He looks crazy, he looked like a ghost, he looked like Miley Cyrus, and if you don't believe me, look at this picture. That's crazy as hell. And I'm not gonna say that Justin is the worst individual in the world, even though he is pretty bad so far. Because, you know, every child star pretty much has gone through that. Let's see, what have we got? Demi Lovato went through that, but she did recover herself and she's back. Zac Efron also, I think, went through a little slip up, but he kept it pretty private, which is good for him. And he's also back from that, so that's good. Lindsay Lohan You know, I don't even know where she is right now. Probably at the bottom of some pit or something. So I'm not even gonna go with that. We now have Dylan Sprouse with his leaked nude photos. And I still love Dylan Sprouse because I read his little press release statement, and he is a good guy. I mean, like, I have no problem with, you know, his new appearance. He is indeed a very handsome young man. So we're gonna let that one slide. I don't know, I didn't want this video to be too long because there's not much that you can say about Justin Bieber that hasn't already been said somewhere by somebody. On a serious note, man, I think it's pretty hard to be a celebrity in general because you're always being watched and everything's being judged and twisted and documented, everything you say and do, and it's pretty hard to, you know, deal with that. But I also think it's especially hard to be a young celebrity because you're expected to be able to set an example for, you know, young consumers of the media. Like, you're supposed to be someone they can look up to and someone that sets a good example for them. You gotta maintain this kind of innocence. At the same time, though, you are still growing up yourself and you have to have room to make mistakes. And I don't think that contemporary media allows enough of that. That's a problem that no one's really tried to fix because it's way too interesting to watch a child star's downfall. It's more interesting to predict this downfall, and it's more to tweet about. I say, wait until you're at least 20 to break out with that viral YouTube video, unless you have some really, really strong, like, iron will morals, like you don't give two forks about anybody in the world, and you promise yourself you never will, because you don't want to turn into the next Justine Bieber, and you also don't want to be the next person that I diss on one of my video blogs. You also don't want to be a male with female breasts.